Bonsoir mes amis. Avant de commencer, je dois prendre un moment pour dire à nouveau que toutes nos pensées sont avec les familles à Laval qui vivent des moments extrêmement difficiles depuis ce matin. Je viens de parler au maire Stéphane Boyer, le maire de Laval, pour lui dire qu'on est là pour l'aider. Tous les Canadiens pensent aux familles à Laval qui souffrent des moments inimaginables. But thank you for being here tonight. How wonderful it is to see you all together, gathered once again in this beautiful place. Although I have to say, Sabine, last time I was here at the NAC for a Black History Month event, I ended up convincing the MC to run for us a few weeks later, right, Marcy? So keep an eye out and we might find a riding for you. Je suis très heureux qu'on puisse tous se rassembler en personne pour célébrer le mois de l'histoire des Noirs après les années de pandémie. Je veux remercier les organisateurs et tous les artistes qui ont offert des performances ce soir. C'est important de continuer de créer, à vous exprimer, à partager votre vision du monde, parce que c'est en échangeant les uns avec les autres qu'on arrive à bâtir des ponts entre toutes les différentes communautés, et c'est comme ça, surtout, qu'on rend notre pays encore plus fort. I want to thank Ministers Ian, Hussein, Tassi, Lametti, Ing, Rodriguez, Saint-Onge, Boissonneau, and a few others who are here tonight this evening, as well as other members of our team, including, of course, the members of the Black Caucus. Your voices are all extremely important for your communities and for all Canadians, so thank you for all the work you do to continue to make our country stronger and more inclusive. Thank you, Barb. Hey, Marcy. I also heard that Jagmeet Singh is here. Thank you, Jagmeet, for being here. Really important that many party leaders are here because this is a community that deserves everyone. Oh, and Elizabeth May, there you are. Good to see you. This is a moment for all of us to gather and celebrate this extraordinary community, and very happy to see you guys here. Black History Month is a time, of course, to reflect on the rich history of Black communities in Canada and to celebrate the contributions you make across the country. Je pense à des athlètes comme Angela James, qui a été la première et qui reste la seule femme noire à avoir été capitaine de l'équipe nationale du hockey féminin au Canada. I think of Dr. June Marion James, the first Black woman admitted to the University of Manitoba's Faculty of Medicine and one of the founders of Manitoba's Family Allergy College. Of course, it's always nice to celebrate the firsts, but can we make sure we're celebrating the 8th and the 12th and the 15th and the 56th? I think of artists like the ones who performed this evening, scientists, business owners, philanthropists, the list goes on. And in February, we celebrate your stories. We honor the legacy of Black communities, and together, we recommit ourselves to continue building a more equitable future. You know, one of the fundamental values of our government is that we believe everyone deserves a real and fair chance at success. This is the belief that guided us when we invested to support the Jean Augustine Chair in Education, Community, and Diaspora at York University, with its laudable goal of improving educational outcomes for Black students. Or, a few months ago, when we announced new funding to support Canada's Black students and postdoctoral researchers and to increase the number of awards available to highly qualified Black scholars. C'est parce qu'on croit que tout le monde mérite une chance réelle et équitable de réussir que notre gouvernement investit pour soutenir les entrepreneurs des communautés noires, ou qu'on soutient les organismes sans but lucratif qui, avec l'initiative, appuient les communautés noires du Canada et avec d'autres programmes. Black-led, Black-focused, and Black-serving nonprofits and charities are the hearts of their communities. But they can't make a positive difference if they don't have support. So today we announce that the Foundation for Black Communities was selected to administrate the Black-led Philanthropic Endowment Fund. This historic $200 million program will provide a sustainable source of funding and will ensure that those who selflessly help others can continue to do so, not just for next week or next month, but for years to come. My friends, whether it's supporting Black communities, promoting mental health, supporting Black economic empowerment, or combating anti-Black racism, this government will continue to work with you as partners and friends. On est là pour travailler avec vous pour rendre notre pays plus équitable et pour mettre fin à toute forme de discrimination et de racisme, incluant le racisme systémique. You know, I think back, I believe it might have been in this room, but at that end of this room, a number of years ago, where for the first time, I got to be part of a Canadian government that recognized the UN Decade of People of African Descent, where I got to be, for the first time, the first Canadian Prime Minister to utter the words anti-Black racism, unconscious bias, systemic discrimination. I can't take much credit for that. I listened. I had extraordinary supporters and community leaders around me pushing us to start moving forward in seeing this community, understanding the opportunity we have as a country to give you the tools to fully contribute to this extraordinary place. And that's what I am so privileged to have been able to do, or to help do, over the past years. Because the work we've done with this community and the work this community has done in demanding our attention, in sitting down with us and pulling us forward, of saying there is anti-Black racism in Canada, there is systemic discrimination in Canada, there is unconscious bias. Every day that hits us in Canada is something we need to continue talking about. It's so easy for Canadians sometimes to shrug and say, we're not the United States, aren't we lucky here? There's a danger of being a little too complacent in Canada, a little too smug. And what we've seen, particularly these past years, that have been difficult, let's not hide from ourselves. On top of the pandemic, we lived the challenges of George Floyd and the consequences of the Black Lives Matter awakening Canadians from coast to coast to coast. We see the terrible news out of the United States this past week that underlines again just how much more work there is to do to make sure that people understand the biases, the systems, the challenges we all face. But I know, and I am inspired so much by the fact that this community continues to believe in yourselves, which should be easy, but in this country, in what we can and we must do. There are some people who get upset every year when I talk about the fact that Canada is not automatically the best country in the world. But our greatness comes from the fact that we think we could be. That we have made mistakes and we have lots to learn in this country. But that the very best of us is that we commit ourselves every day to doing better, to learning from each other, to listening to each other, and to working together to make sure this country is everything we need it to be. And this community has increased its voice, its strength, its impact these past years is a true inspiration, not just to all Canadians, but to all Canadians seeking to build that better future. And I thank you so much for everything you do. Let's continue to make sure that our voices are heard with initiatives like the Changing Narratives Fund that seeks to break down systemic barriers in the media and cultural sectors. Let's continue making sure that you have the right tools to succeed, and let's continue to build an economy that works for all Canadians, a country where no one is left behind. Merci beaucoup, mes chers amis. Happy Black History Month.